I'm working on some really in-depth play-by-play game comparisons, so it's a lot of editing. I'm not getting it done as quickly as I would like, and I just needed to stop and enjoy basketball for a little bit. And boy, this was the perfect cure. A trip back to 1998, Indiana Pacers, Chicago Bulls. Guys, this is good. This is so good. And of course, it's good without me ruining it with my commentary, but that's the only way it's not going to get blocked. So I know many of you feel the way I do about the game, so you can join me in my commentary as I look back on this classic.
They have never faced an elimination game, a Game 7, as late as the conference finals or the finals in any of the 5 seasons in which they won the title. So this is something new for them.
I'm really just pausing not to get blocked.
For Michael Jordan, in this his 36th playoff series, it's just his 3rd Game 7.
You know, I don't think I appreciated Bob Costas the way he deserved. Like, he was really good at his job.
But MJ offers assurances that the dynasty will not end here tonight.
We're going to win Game 7.
Well, it's not quite Babe Ruth calling his shot.
Back when people talked big and actually had to back it up. Did people even remember those days? Now you can say any stupidity that you want and there aren't any consequences.
He needs help from Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc. In Game 5, they were terrific. You see the points and assists. In Game 6, Michael 35. Scottie and Tony, only 9 of 25, 3 assists. Neither had a field goal in the 4th quarter.
Neither had a field goal in the 4th quarter. And those are the primary offensive weapons outside of Jordan. Now, what's really crazy about this is while we might get caught up in talking about how much help Jordan did or didn't have, the way that Jordan's help disappears in the 4th, in at least that example, is representing what today's GOAT does in every 4th quarter. Like, the main superstar disappears in every 4th period. And yet, here we are criticizing role players back in the 90s. Now we praise a fake GOAT who disappears in the 4th period. And yet role players couldn't even get away with disappearing in the 4th period back in the 90s. Sorry, somebody's going to hang me for calling them role players. They weren't the main superstar. That's the point I'm getting at.
What they want to do is find gold inside, as they did in Game 6. They have established Smith and Davis in the low post. You see they were combined 18 of 21 from the field.
18 of 21 from the field. I didn't even hear that properly the first time that I watched this, because the real reason I stopped this was to talk about the fact that you had the dunking Dutchman, Rick Smits, 7'4", 250, and the smaller guy, Dale Davis, is 6'11", 250. That's an inside presence. Oh, and waiting to come off the bench, Antonio Davis, a guy who would mop the floor with Draymond Green. You know, they've been shoving that bigger, stronger, faster shit down our throats for so long that even I was starting to believe it. Turns out, the more I look back at these older games, it's not even true. It's dumb in the first place, but it's not even true. And as you're going to see, as the footage is shown, they were highly skilled. Smits is way better than I knew.
Game 7 is next. Reggie Miller held under double figures for the first time in the playoffs in Game 6, but of course he virtually won Games 3 and 4 for the Pacers. Chris Mullin had 18 points here in Game 2 on 6 of 10. Since then, 18.
Man, what is with the photos that they chose for these guys? Rick Smits, he's looking Sling Blade-ish. What is happening with Chris Mullin? That's the best photo you have of Chris Mullin. It looks like you caught Freddy Krueger in the middle of a sentence.
Phil Jackson's lineup. Michael Jordan needs just 5 points tonight to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the NBA's all-time leading playoff scorer. Kukoc in the starting lineup again, but if Dale Davis begins to get into the blocks and score early, we'll see Rodman off the bench sooner than we have earlier in this series.
So I went ahead and watched the rest of this just to make sure I wasn't talking out of my ass. But that's the last time they mentioned that. Did you hear what they said? Let me play it for you again.
Michael Jordan needs just 5 points tonight to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the NBA's all-time leading playoff scorer.
Michael Jordan is about to pass the all-time leading playoff scorer. Now that's a significant stat. And no lead up, no mention of it afterward. If this were LeBron James, we would have heard about approaching this mark months ago. And every week leading up to it, hours before the game, during the game, after the game. You understand what I'm saying? The difference between then and now? And overhyping crap. And what do we have to hear about LeBron doing now? Scoring 10 points on a full moon?
Larry Bird told his team to wear their uniforms to the game. He wanted them to focus early. Then when they got here, he gave a very emotional and personal speech. He told them, guys, believe in yourselves. Believe in your dreams. We can win this whole thing. He then went on to tell them of the 1981 Celtics and his first title and the parade that the team had and what it felt like to have a whole city salute you. He said, guys, it can all be yours. I believe in you. Believe in yourselves. Mark Jackson, Jalen Rose, and a lot of the guys told me it really got to them.
And stories like that are why even those of us who respect Jordan's greatness actually cheered against him. Like, that was the poor Pacers. The Pacers played so hard. They worked their butts off. The Knicks worked their butts off. So many people deprived just looking in the Eastern Conference before we even looked to who Jordan would go on and beat in the West.
With the game's first possession, Pippen drives, misses on the run, and Jackson has the loose ball.
Look for the Bulls today to put more ball pressure on. They thought their ball pressure was very weak in Game 6.
Miller lobs to Smits. He finds Dale Davis, who gets inside for the dunk.
And that's where Indiana will attack.
So much to talk about in just the first 2 possessions of the game. Let's look at Scotty just blowing that layup. Scotty, I would have never been this mean to you if you had just kept your mouth shut. Now, how about on the other end that we get to watch basketball being played by all 10 players? And so many people touch the ball. So many people are running around. So many people are fighting to get position. Look at Rick Smits. Look at him. Look at the 7'4" guy dish to the 7'11" guy after all different people touched the ball on that possession. I got to pause the footage for a moment so I don't get blocked or copyright stricken. Look at Scottie Pippen's miss. Not the miss, but just look at how many people are under the rim ready to fight for that rebound. And yet, despite that, everybody gets down the court and is ready to play offense afterwards. I don't want to hear about the more athletic guys today. They're lazy. Today's players are lazy. And I know only old heads are probably enjoying this breakdown, but any of you younger guys, please try and learn from this. It's called hustle and heart and conditioning. Okay, outlet pass from the guy who scrambled for the ball. Reggie bringing it up, and Reggie passes. There's another handoff, and there's another pass, and finally the pass to Smits. And there's Jordan trying, at least Jordan's making an attempt to block the big man. And Luke Longley himself is 7'2", 265. So you got a 7'4" guy and a 7'2" guy, and the 7'4" guy with a beautiful dish to the 6'11" guy. And this is why. How many people notice that Rodman isn't in? You hear looking back at this three-peat, how essential Rodman was. Is anyone even noticing that Rodman isn't in the game? But he's going to be, because obviously Tony Kukoc can't handle Dale Davis.
Right away with Smits and Davis.
That's just the way Game 6 began, with Dale Davis getting position inside and slamming one home.
By the way, I tried AI upscaling this, and I'm not sure I accomplished very much.
He ended with a playoff career high of 19. Kukoc ties it, plus a foul.
You can see early in this ball game, Chicago, 2 possessions, Scottie Pippen to the basket, Kukoc to the basket. Now
That's a good take. That's a tough shot by Kukoc. And, you know, no drama, no laying around. Get up, get to the free throw line. But look at Davis. I don't want to hear any of you new heads telling me that you want to go up against that. Just stop.
it was a strong finish by Tony Kukoc going to his right. I thought Kukoc is a much more effective player when he gets off early.
Look at the full court pickup. Just wanted you to appreciate that.
On the offense.
Pippen trying to thwart Jackson as he has most of the series. Smits gives it back to Jackson, who hits the baseline J.
God, this is fun to watch. I mean, this is what basketball is. And this is what old heads miss. Let's look at that again. Okay, I have to ask you to just appreciate how congested the lane is and understand why we're not impressed with people dunking now. You get past one guy by traveling and carrying, or an offensive foul usually, at least in LeBron's case, and then there's no one there waiting for you. Yay! I'm so impressed that you can dunk in a wide open lane as a professional basketball player. Look at this. If you find a way to dunk in that, kudos to you. So I want to appreciate Mark Jackson actually dribbling around like a point guard until something opens up, passes to his big man who passes right back and nails the mid-range. Yeah, I don't know why everybody thinks that today's shooters are better than yesterday's shooters. Today's shooters can't hit a mid-range and are like shooting 30%, 40% from three. Did you see? It's so simple. But that big man understood. Give it right back. I mean, it's a beautiful pass. It's very simple, but it's a beautiful pass.
That opens the entire game up. Remember now, Pippen floats. He roams off Mark Jackson.
Kukoc. Short. Rebound to Jordan. His first shot is a putback.
Jordan's first shot of the game. You know, he's been facilitating. He's been getting people involved. And his first shot is a monster offensive rebound. That's more effort than I've seen LeBron James put into a rebound since I can remember. Let's watch that again. I mean, look at all the people he had to get through to get that.
Now you watch the way Michael attacks this offensive rebound. He'll move Miller around, and then as the shot goes up, watch as he goes after it, goes up and puts it right back in. He attacked that rebound, Doug, like it was a home, like he was starving for that basketball. Michael Jordan has come out in emotion that Phil Jackson wanted to see in Game 5.
Even though that was 90% positive, you hear Isaiah Thomas try to say something negative, saying that he's moving Miller around. Look at that again. He didn't move Miller at all. Miller doesn't budge. Go ahead, take one more look. Nothing happens there. It's just somebody finding the open space.
Dale Davis. Miller. On the run, scoops it up, and it rolls home for him. So Miller taking it to the hoop as he rarely does. Here's Harper at the other end, and he's fouled. Jackson on the move. Behind a Davis screen, and now Miller. Smits. He hit 11 of 12 from the field in Game 6 and swishes his first one here.
First of all, just look at the war. Like, all 10 guys going at each other. And then look at Smits with the spin move and shooting over 7-2 Longley. That is a beautiful spin mid-range. What'd they say? He shot 11 for 12 the previous game? And you don't even know who this is, do you? You guys don't even know who Rick Smits is. That's how much the pass gets crapped on.
Kukoc with room. Rebound to Jackson. Dale Davis, stronger than Kukoc, trying to back him down. And Kukoc fouls him.
Bob, remember now how crucial free throws are in big, tight playoff games. And Indiana in the playoffs has really been shooting them exceptionally well, other than Game 6.
And other than Dale Davis, a sub 50% free throw shooter for the year. Up and under by Jordan, but can't hit it off the glass.
You know, that right there, that body contact by Miller after that fake, that's a foul today. I'm not saying that it should be called one. I'm not saying I think it is one. I'm just saying that's how different the game is now. It's a tough shot. He misses. 7-4 Rick Smits is there to challenge it. 6'11 Dale Davis rebounds it. Nobody quits. Nobody's in the ref's face. Nobody's bitching instead of getting back on defense. There's Jordan with the pickup on Mark Jackson. And what's going to happen here? Oh, my. Look at Mullen get to the rim. Again, another guy disrespected. Oh, God. And the Bulls threw it away.
On that last drive, Tony Kukoc went high side and Dale Davis sealed him, which let Mullins go to the baseline. They're so conscious of Dale Davis. And how long is Phil Jackson going to stay with Kukoc in this matchup against Davis?
Davis again, good again.
I think he's going to go right down to the bench right now.
Yeah, Kukoc can't handle Davis. And again, today, they call a foul on that. They call Kukoc for a foul on that. I'm not saying I would, but that's just how pathetic today's game is. That little belly rubbing. That's what they call a foul now.
Phil's going to call a timeout. This is something he usually doesn't do. He has great confidence in his team, and he lets them play through these kind of moments.
Dale Davis appears to be getting off to a big start. Just what Phil Jackson told us yesterday that he feared in Game 7. He has left Kukoc in, at least for the time being. Davis is averaging just under 9 points a game in the playoffs overall. He has 2 baskets here, was fouled another time, and missed the 2 free throws. After the timeout, it's Jordan. Miller has the assignment on him. He gets around him and lays it in. No basket. No basket, says Hugh Evans. Foul before the shot.
Again, a small detail about how different the game is now. They would call that shooting motion today. Hey, they call almost everything the shooting motion. And the complaining, the tantrum, the carrying on that LeBron would be doing right now without getting a T because that wasn't called in the shooting motion.
Out of that timeout, you can see Chicago came with a screen roll off Smits, trying to get him involved. And Michael's so determined on this play.
Kukoc to Pippen, and now Jordan. The crowd seemingly stunned, rather quiet at this stage. Good pass to Harper from Jordan.
I don't want to ruin your enjoyment of the game, but if I don't pause it, this is going to get blocked. So I basically have to. But you got to appreciate the patience there and the ball movement and waiting for something to happen and then rewarding the cutting player.
See, I see Chicago being very tentative right now. Kukoc passed up 2 shots, and if he's going to be out on the floor, he must take those shots, or else Phil must come with Dennis Rodman to supply defense.
Davis again. Double team, so he gets it out to Jackson for 3.
So again, I invite you to appreciate the intense defense. Look how congested it is. Everybody is on somebody, even if it's Pippen on Jackson up at the top and the lane clogged. And I want you to watch Kukoc and Davis battling. You know, today that would probably be called a foul on either one of them. This is what we talk about when we say physical basketball. We're not talking about being dirty and cheap shotting people and fighting. We're just talking about physicality. And look at Mark Jackson nailing the shot. I don't want to hear about the past not being able to hit shots or today's players being better shooters. These guys are more efficient. Look at the beautiful ball movement, in and out, and then nail it. You got Dale Davis doing things that today would be getting him praise as a basketball savant, when it's just basic basketball. He's overpowering Tony Kukoc. Therefore, Scottie Pippen has to come down and double. Dale Davis passes at the perfect moment in that double team that will not allow Pippen to get back to Mark Jackson in time. And you don't even know who Dale Davis is. And yet here we have fantastic basketball being demonstrated by him and Mark Jackson. Bam. And on this play, because the quality is so bad, I don't know who to blame. If that's a bad pass by Pippen or just not being able to get the ball by Longley, or if it was a good defense, but I had to stop and talk about it so that I don't get blocked. And everyone races up the court. Mark Jackson with a behind-the-back pass, and Davis is going to abuse Kukoc again, isn't he? Spin move baseline, bam. And you don't even know who he is. I think he's a better shooter than today's stars, and you don't even know who this guy is. Maybe I'm being harsh, but the overpraise of today's players make me stop and think, maybe not. Oh, and Kukoc blocked by Davis. When is Phil Jackson going to make that move? Pippen comes down, makes a saving block, although it looks like there was a foul called on the play.
Here comes Rodman. Back to the Chicago bench. He was back riding the bike to stay warm. They may need him any minute. Here's Pippen inside. Longley confronts him.
That's funny when you think about it. Rodman is in the back getting more exercise waiting to come in than today's players get while they're actually playing the game. And here he comes, loaded up on kamikazes, fresh out of Vegas. No, I'm kidding. That's not during this series. Oh, Dennis. You know what? I actually like that hairdo. I don't remember that one. I don't know how I don't remember that one. But this is where I'm going to stop it, guys. A teaser to see what Dennis Rodman does in the game. There's only 5 minutes left in the first period, and I've been blabbering for 20-some minutes. So here's where we're going to call it on the Scottie Pippen Miss.